Hola, hola, buenos dias, bom dia, good morning. My name is Melinda Ramirez, and I'm ASE's Director of Leadership Programs. My pronouns are she, her, and ella. I'm Latina. Today I'm wearing a black top, and I have dark brown curly hair. Most importantly, me siento muy excited to be your Cafecito host again. So, welcome to all that are tuning in today. Before I go over some wonderful announcements and introduce our lovely guest today, I would like to learn a little bit from you all. My question to you all today is, what is one thing that you are grateful for today? Hmm, drop it in the chat. And as those comments come in, I am more than grateful to be alive and healthy, and for my little Isabelita, who gave me a wonderful hug before I dropped her off at daycare. Excellent. Keep the gratefulness, the gratitude coming in. So, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time today, HACE stands for the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, and we are a national nonprofit whose mission is to advance Latino leaders. And how we do that is from multiple ways. We focus on how we positively impact the American workplace by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent and providing Latino professionals with the insights, access, and support to be successful in their careers. We have numerous ways to do that, and one of those are great events with wonderful partners. So, in the chat, you'll hear about lots of events, but I will give you a little bit of announcements starting with today. We are kicking off our hybrid executive leadership tour in New York City. So, hola, New York folks. Sad I can't be there today, but I will be joining New York next week. We'll have our executive leadership tour, as I mentioned, with Major League Baseball. Tomorrow, we are kicking off Hispanic Heritage Month in New York City again with Omnicom Media Group. September 15th is the official Hispanic Heritage Month day, going all the way through October 15th. But as I always say, we're more than a month. We celebrate 365, 24/7. September 21st, we have our virtual career fair. So please, if you are a job seeker, tune in. We have a wonderful V-Fairs virtual experience that you're going to love. September 27th, we have Latinas in the Workplace. And to close us out, as always, we have our ongoing United campaign to support undergraduate, graduate students with our scholarships. Your donation will help us give up to 40 students the chance to have great scholarships to support themselves and their family. So, with all those announcements said, I want to welcome our lovely guest, Chanel. Chanel, good morning, and how are you?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me today. I'm doing very well. How's it going for you?
Good, good. And my fellow Boricua, she's actually from the Isla, but I'm
Yes.
sending you love all the way from Tennessee. Chanel, tell our audience a little bit what you're grateful for today.
Grateful for, oh my God, so much for life. Actually, my dog's name is Vida, so I'm very
Ah,
grateful for him. I'm very grateful for my boyfriend who might be tuning in to watch me, which is funny. And I'm grateful for my family for their support always.
I love that. Hola to Chanel's boyfriend, Chanel's familia, and to our Ase familia. Chanel, we always love to ask, tell us a little bit about your morning beverage of choice or how you like your cafecito.
So, funny story, and I blame my grandmother for this, but every time after my grandfather came and picked me up from school, my grandma would receive me with a little cappuccino that was mostly whipped cream and a little bit of coffee. But now as an adult, I rarely drink coffee. So my morning drink is just a bunch of water.
Same. I am team agua here. My
Yes.
my abuelita used to do something. I don't know if this is very Puerto Rican, but at least in my family, she would do cafecito con leche, but then
Uh-huh.
throw in crackers or
Love.
cornflakes. Maybe that's my
Yes,
family.
cornflakes.
Maybe that's my family or my abuelita, but
But it's not like corn flake, it's corn flake.
Conflate, correct.
obviously.
So, however you like your beverage of choice, audience members, tell us in your chat whether you have some interesting cafecito recipes. If you're team agua like Chanel and I, or you're drinking something else, let us know. But Chanel, we're really here to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about you. Tell our
Okay.
audience your cultural background and professional background.
Yes. So, like you mentioned, I am born and raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico, in the part of called Rio Piedras. So I left to go to the United States. I'm now in New York City, but I left when I was 18. So I pursued my bachelor's and my master's here
Nice.
in the States. And I've been working in sports for about 8 years now, but also combined with a little bit of nonprofit work.
Yeah, you're talking my talk, sports and nonprofit. If my husband was here, he's away right now on a trip,
Uh-huh.
but he would say Yankees, MLB, any
Love
kind
it.
of club. So let us know, audience, in the chat, if you're a sports fan, what sports are you supporting right now? I am
Mhm.
Team Yankees, raised right, as we say, blue and white.
I never heard that. I love it. I
That's
live
my
in Queens, so I
abuelito.
have to go Mets, but it's because I live in
Ah.
Queens.
Oh, we got a subway war going on right
Yep.
here.
I'm
So
not taking the D or the B.
tell us a little bit about your nonprofit too, sports background. Our audience would love to know that.
Yeah. So I actually started in baseball, and I'm still in baseball, as you know. But my work was specifically with a minor league club that no longer plays under the minor league umbrella. And then I transitioned into a nonprofit called Society for American Baseball Research, which does all the historical data for baseball. So it was kind of like marrying the best of both worlds with having a nonprofit, but also keep it in the family of sports and specifically baseball. Now I serve as a senior coordinator of global marketing strategy for MLB. So basically, that means that our department runs all the relationships with our regional offices. We have offices in Asia, we have offices in Latin America, as well as Europe. But we also help put together the go to market strategy for international events. So if you're
Nice.
looking for something to do next year, we're going to be playing in the Dominican Republic, we're going to be playing in Korea, in Mexico, and in London.
Ooh, I love that. I
Mhm.
am a proud Dominican, so I gave a
Yes.
little shout out to my Boricua side earlier. But I love the Dominican Republic. Baseball runs deep on both sides of my
Mhm.
family. I grew up on the baseball field, so I understand that. So, Chanel, since you've been
Mm.
in sports, what have you enjoyed most in working for MLB?
Ooh, good question. So for now, I can say like the easiest answer would be just the people.
Hmm.
It's such a tight community that you're gonna see the people that you worked when you were 18 and they're gonna be your boss and then you eventually can become their boss, but they're also very good human beings. Not only we work together, but we become friends, we become a family. Um, but then as far as like experience, um, I'm gonna be biased and I have to say working the World Baseball Classic was a dream come true. I went to about 3 of them when I was
Wow.
uh, a fan, and now that I can get to work on them was just like a full circle moment for me.
Wow. Are you still the fan working the event? Like you're still working, but you're like, "Wah!" Or a big wepa, like I would say.
No, sadly, you have to like keep it professional, and I am very strict with that side of me. So no, I'm not a fan, but just to see the impact that it has in our communities, that it has in our countries, that fulfills me even more now.
I love that. I love that. You keep that inner energy while still
Yes.
having that external being able to focus. So you talked a little bit about community. I know with MLB,
Mhm.
there's a community called Somos. Can you tell the audience what is Somos about?
Of course. So Somos is our employee resource group. Here at MLB, we have 9 employee resource groups. So I and 2 other colleagues, EJ Aguado and then Willie Rodriguez, lead the Somos ERG. So our hopes and dreams, or our goal, is to really foster inclusivity, to give the Latino, Latinx community um, a space for professional development, but also to help on that side of having more volunteer events, having more connections with the community. So
Awesome.
that's what we do in Somos. And like you mentioned before, it's not only during Hispanic Heritage Month, right? Like
Exactly.
I cannot turn off my Latinidad in any way. I'm who I am all the time. So that's the work that we do. It's all the time. We invite allies, we invite anyone that support us. And I'm gonna give a little shout out to our executive sponsor, who's Michael Hill. He's been amazing to work with, and he really makes it 100% better.
That's amazing to hear. We're going to open up some questions for the
Okay.
audience. So, audience, for those who are tuning in, if you want to know a little bit about Chanel personally, culturally, professionally, MLB, Stomos, put all the comments in the chat. We'll be able to flag them momentarily. In the meantime, Chanel, I would love to learn. You had talked about, that family, that community part, leveraging your Latinidad in MLB or
Mhm.
sports in general, you don't see a lot of women representation, right? Let alone Latina representation.
Mhm.
How have you been able to leverage your Latinidad in the sports world?
Interesting question. When I first was like going through like the internship cycle when I was like a freshman, sophomore, all that stuff, it was really hard. I'm gonna be honest. It was really hard because I could never see someone that looked like me or had my hair or anything. So I had to really dig deep, and I found amazing women that are in sports. And another shout out, sorry, Sara.
No, cut them out, especially they could
No,
listen live or they could watch the recording.
Sara Toussaint, she's one of my mentors, and she is an amazing, amazing woman in sports. That's also a Latina. That's also Boricua. So just having people and meeting people has been amazing. I think one of the things that it took me a little bit to understand, but it's that you have to put yourself out there, because if not, nobody's going to do it for you. And trust me, I am very shy. I
You
like
can't
get
tell.
really well, I am. I get nervous. I was even telling my boyfriend, like, oh, I'm nervous. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Um, but you have to put yourself out there. Nobody's going to do it for you. And in that way, people are going to get to see you and the value that you can bring to not only your company, to your organization, but just the value that you as a human being can bring.
I love that. One thing that I always say, because
Mhm.
I think it's natural as humans, right? We get nervous. The nervous just shows
Mhm.
that we care. That little bit of fear could be healthy too. And I
Yeah.
always say, my purpose is bigger than my fear. Sometimes I have to check myself and say, you know what? Focus on the purpose, Melinda. Put that fear aside. And then when you're done, you woosah. So my purpose is bigger than my fear, and that drives me forward. We have some audience questions,
Mhm.
Janet, from George Torres, who's also a New Yorker, and he's a
Okay.
member of our ASE board. So, hola, George. His question is, how is Tomos pushing the envelope to set a new standard for how the C-suites invest in us? Ooh, good one, George.
Really good question. Hi, George. So Somos is always pushing the boundaries. I think even in our events, for example, we have like open houses for our employee resource groups, and we are having a little salsa, bachata, merengue instruction that has never been done
Okay.
in our office. So we're gonna teach people how to dance. Uh, but to go back to your question, we have representation in the suite, and we are currently working with our leaders to see how representation can increase. What are the the next steps that we need to do so that it's not only 1 to 5 people. If we can get a C-suite that is full of representations, not only of Latinos, Latinx, Latine, or Hispanics, but also of the um, the community that we're now living in.
I love that. I like how you bring in the fun and, we're just not just food and music, we're that
Mm-hmm.
cultura, that representation, being able to show us how we are, but also show what's possible. And I love how you talked about here I was as an intern, or this is where I was 18, this is where I'm at now in my current role. And that growth and what you're doing is showing that progression, right? And saying, hey, listen, this is my background, this is where I come from. And that's what we try to do at ASE, is bring great leaders like yourself to the community to show like, hey, it's possible. It's not always easy, right? Because I'm
No.
sure 18 coming from Puerto Rico to New York to school, like you had to live through successes and sorrows and struggles, but that's what makes us who we are and makes
Mhm.
things better and make things sweeter. And it's so important to bring that around. So I love that. Audience, feel free to keep putting any questions that you may have or questions for Chanel. Chanel, I would love to learn a little bit from you. What is some advice that you would love to share with our audience if they want to have a similar career path to you?
Some advice. I think I would say, or not I think, I would say that you need to be adaptable, not, and I'm saying this from a personal experience. I am a very big planner. I think things should go exactly how
Same.
I want them to be. And I
Mhm.
quickly learned that in sports, sure, you're going to have a template, but that's not going to happen all the time. So be adaptable, be flexible. I think you should also be able to be, or not should be able, you should be driven, and speak for what you want. Uh, when I, going back to the intern phase, when I was an intern, I said, like, hey, I really want a full time position. Like, what do I need to do?
Mhm.
And they were able to say, like, okay, you need to work on XYZ, and then you can potentially be a candidate. And I work on that, and look at me now. I was able to get a full time job. I'm in New York again. So just really using your voice and saying, hey, I want this. How can we achieve them? How can we achieve it? It's going to be very important.
I love that, especially because you said you're shy, which I am like completely shocked. But I love how you said, like, hey, ask for it, right? Find out what it is, go
Mm-hmm.
after what it is that you want to go after, and work your way. And I think with that shyness, it's okay if you're shy, it's okay if you're outgoing, is that driven part, as you said, what's important for me. I
Mm-hmm.
know the audience is still engaging there. How can Somos really help support the Latino, Latina, Latinx, Latine community in sports, specifically in MLB? Aside from the events, what else is going on?
Mm-hmm. So we have been having Somos for about 10 years now. I
Nice.
don't want to claim that we were the first. I'm just saying that we were we had Somos for about 10 years. What I think has been really important in the almost 2 years of leading Somos with EJ and Willie is that we had the opportunity to talk to other organizations. It doesn't have to be specifically sports, but other organizations that might have a um, BRG or an ERG and say, like, hey, we're going to share our best practices, take them or leave them. But also, if you want to collaborate on an event or anything, we are here to support you. So just bridging that gap and having open communication to share best practices has been really good for us because we also hear what has been good with, for example, the
Right.
NBA
Right.
or a company like Undefeated. So it's good that we are able to share what's working and what's not.
Definitely. Such a great tip. Cross collaboration, open communication, sharing is caring, folks. So we have two questions. One is from
Yeah.
Bernice Vargas Luna, and then one is for me to close out. So Bernice Vargas Luna, Hola Bernice, is one of our programs manager, and she is asking all the way from Chicago, Chanel, what has been your favorite career moment so far? Great question.
Great. Hi, Bernice. I think I have to stop saying I think. I know that my favorite career moment was definitely watching the last inning and the last at bat of the World Baseball Classic when we had Shohei Ohtani closing for Team Japan against Mike Trout,
Nice.
his teammate with the Angels. We couldn't have scripted that, and it just came perfect. It was like, this is what baseball is. So definitely to have that closing moment was the best time in my career. My mom was also able to visit me while I was working for the World Baseball
Wow.
Classic. So for her to see me not only like as a little girl that she took to those events by herself, being a single mother, but now seeing me as a professional in the industry working was a dream come true.
You just gave me goosebumps. I love that full circle
Now you're
moment.
gonna make me cry, so no. Bernice, it's your fault.
Wait, Bernice, you gave us goosebumps, chills, and
Yes.
a little bit of cry. I love that, and thank you for sharing that moment. And to close us out, I would love to learn, Chanel, a little bit from
Mhm.
you. What is something that you're most hopeful about in 2023, or
Ooh,
hopeful for?
deep question to close out. What I'm most hopeful is that I remember that work is not all my life. I have been personally struggling with keeping that balance together. So I want to be more present. I want to be um, just having that balance between work and quote unquote regular life. So my hope is that in the end of these couple months of 2023, I can be more present with my family, with my friends, with my dog, with everyone.
I love that. And truly, I appreciate your honesty from the beginning to now. And I can definitely say, as a mom, military spouse, career woman, work life balance is just not my vocabulary. I just say work life integration because I'm
Hmm.
not balanced. Sometimes I give it 100, sometimes 20, sometimes I got to rely. And as you said, being present, enjoying those moments, especially magic moments like the magic moment that you had in your career, is taking those little moments and making it into bigger ones. So I'm so glad, and I definitely hope that you get your hopeful moment of being more present with your dog, with your family. For anybody who would like to connect with Chanel, wants to know more
Hmm.
about MLB, Somos, please make sure that you connect with Chanel on LinkedIn. As well, if you're in the New York City or tri-state area, so
Yeah.
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we didn't forget about you. Come through tonight to the event and you can join for the executive leadership tour. If you can't, you could always tune in. Registration is still available for anybody who wants to join us virtually because this is a hybrid event. With that said, Chanel, it's been a pleasure. Definitely fue un placer. Thank you so much for being here. If your boyfriend is watching, definitely proud. You nailed it. And
Thank
for
you.
those of you tuning in, thank you so much always as your support. We appreciate your time. And as always, as part of the HACE Familia, you are here. You're part of Nuestra Comunidad. We are here to support. So once again, thank you, Chanel. And thank you so much for our wonderful audience for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Un
Adios.
abrazo.
Adios.